Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to Huskers Live. Every Tuesday, we are rocking and rolling here to bring you the latest and greatest in Husker news. And we got some Husker drama. We got some Nebraska recruiting. We got a lot of stuff for y'all today. So if you're here already, if you don't mind, drop a comment, leave a like on the video. And we'll dive into your comments per usual. I'm going to go ahead and go through the few comments that we have, the early people here. But first things first, Brian, how you doing today, man?
It's hot as hell, but I'm surviving. How are you?
Only 110 today in Arizona.
Yeah, we got 97 today, but
that's
humidity is what kills us.
Pretty rough. But when it gets 115 plus, I don't care. I'd rather
it's unbearable.
I'd rather humidity. But the interior of my wife's car 2 days ago was 164 degrees. It's kind of crazy.
You could smoke.
Chicken.
You could cook some food on there. Yeah,
you cook chicken in that. I almost put some chicken on the dash. You know what I'm saying? Just to test it out, but I didn't want to ruin her car. So get salmonella. So let me go to dive into some of the comments. We got Bone-Leg Corn-Fed coming in here first. He's pretty much holding that down lately, that first one.
Yeah.
Go Big Red, is this new recruiter any good? It seems to jump. We will talk about that. We got that on deck, Mike. Go Big Red, what's up, man? Appreciate you hopping in here. Howdy. And here we go. Bruce Buffer, let's go. Go Big Red, y'all. Husker Wrestling, Joseph. I feel like Joseph wasn't here last week. Was he here last week? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I slept since then. 90 in Cali. My wife's over in Cali right now, and she was bragging about the weather over there. I would love to be over there right now. That's all I'm going to say. Anywhere but Arizona right now. I think it's the fact that summer here stays. It's the longest summer of anywhere. It's like 2023, 113 consecutive days over 100 degrees. That's the worst part of it, about how long the duration of the summer is here that kills us.
Life gets busy.
Go ahead.
Honestly, that's what I've been telling my kids. They're like, "Oh, it's so hot out," and I'm like, "Well, get ready, because where we're moving, it's going to be 95 for 90 days a year."
Yep. Exactly. And it's more humid. Well, if you were going to the Houston area, it'd be more humid than you deal with there. So luckily for you, you're not going to that area right now. So life gets busy, miss some shows. I totally understand, Joseph, but I appreciate you being here whenever you get a chance to. We like talk Husker wrestling now. Thanks to you. All right, Brian. Well, first things first. Do you want to dive into the Husker drama first, or do you want to dive into the new recruiter?
Let's do the recruiter first, because Mike asked.
Let's go.
Because the drama is going to be, that might get a few good rants out of us.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start with that. I'm going to let you go ahead and take the lead on that one.
Yeah. So new recruiting coordinator is Anthony Johnson. He's coming over from Michigan, as you all have heard by now. If not, now you have. He was there in May, short stint there. And then he was previously at Pitt for the last 6 months prior to that. So I know Mike mentioned he kind of jumps jobs a lot. There's one thing, if you look through that job history, is he's constantly elevating. They're not lateral moves or anything like that for the most part, except from Pitt to Michigan, I think, maybe comparable. But overall, keeps elevating up in the industry. That's what you want to see from a young coach. I believe he graduated from Youngstown State like 2019 or 2020, so he's fairly new to this coaching industry. Obviously, one of the biggest things for him is he was a big focal point for Michigan's recruiting. And for those that don't pay attention to much outside of the Nebraska bubble, I get that. Michigan is on an absolute freaking heater with recruiting. They have probably one of the best defensive line classes in the entire country, and that was his specialty, was helping out on the defensive line. Now, Georgia, Florida are probably up there as well, but Michigan as a whole is just crushing it on the recruiting trail. So this is a guy you want. And also familiar prospects, Titan Davis, Mikhail Blade, both committed to Michigan. Both were guys Nebraska was pursuing. This maybe gets you a chance to get your foot back in the door with those two in particular. That's all I got really on Anthony Johnson. Not a whole lot. He followed me on Twitter, so maybe we can shoot him a DM and get him on the show. Maybe, I don't know.
Give it a go. Bone Like Cornfed said, what is causing the job jumping?
It's elevation. It's promotions. That's kind of like, I hate Deion Sanders, but if you remember when he was talking about going from Jackson State to Colorado, and he said, in this industry, you're either getting elevated or you're getting replaced or something like that. It's exactly what is happening. He keeps elevating. His title at Michigan was like, I don't even really know what it was, just a recruiting guy. Now he's a recruiting coordinator. So he's stepping up. He's super young. So, I mean, he's like, what, 25, 26 years old? How many of us at 25 and 26 years old were at the same job for 10 years?
Exactly. I think that's what we get twisted a lot of times, is we don't take into effect that if this was us, we would do the same thing. We don't really. It's because it's like, they do this job and it seems so far apart from what we do as normals, I guess. That's kind of how we feel in comparison. That it's the same thing there. You're trying to climb the ladder, just like, you start as a grad assistant, like coaches. Look at how coaches have to climb the ladder. They'll be a place a year, 2 years. It's the same thing. So with a recruiter, and the thing about job jumping is if Nebraska knows the places he's been, if they see that as a positive thing, or not a negative, they wouldn't have brought him on if they thought he was just hopping job to job for the sake of it, And again, Nebraska's up there in terms of the echelon of, what they can pay and provide and stuff like that too. So I don't think we'll have to worry about that too much unless he comes in and kills it, which in that case, great. If he comes in and kills it and gets another promotion, goes somewhere else, perfect. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It means it worked out.
I mean, yeah. Even like if you look at Coach Rule's, career trajectory, 98, he was a Penn State volunteer assistant. Later that year, he was a linebacker coach at Albright College. The next year, he was at Buffalo as their D-line coach for a year and a half. Then the next year, in 2001, UCLA D-line coach. 2022, Western Carolina linebackers and special teams. He was there until 2005. Got some promotions along the way. 2006, D-line coach at Temple. Next year, QB coach at Temple. Then OC and QB coach, and then OC and tight end coach. And then left Temple to go to the New York Giants, and then came back to Temple for a stint in Baylor, Carolina, and then Nebraska. So it's the same thing early in his career. It is 1 year and you're out. That's very common in coaching.
100%. All right. And Mike, is he strictly D-line recruiting for us or overall recruiting?
He'll do a lot of the overall recruiting with right now the obvious need on defensive line, because I don't know why people keep saying that Valdon Stone is going to be in. I saw someone say it again today. I have no inclination as to why they think he's committing to Nebraska. But Titan Davis, Mikhail Blade, Cameron Wilson, those are the three guys I think they're going to circle back onto with Anthony Johnson as a recruiting coordinator.
Yep. So, I mean, overall, love the move. I'm not worried about it at all. I think it was a great hire. So, all right.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Let's go ahead and dive into some drama. So, there's another show called Heard At, right? And on Heard At, there was a little comment yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I'm going to play it for you, but it's talking about atmospheres. And we kind of talked about the atmosphere, of the walkout and stuff like that. But we weren't talking about overall game atmosphere. We're talking about just kind of coming out to the stadium and stuff like that. This one was kind of wild. Oh, Sports Talk with Austin. What's up, man? Is Nebraska a 9-win team in 2025? Is the hype real? I think Nebraska, I think that definitely not. I think we should project Nebraska as a 9-win team. I think that's realistic this year. Again, I think 8 wins is the bare minimum of quote unquote a successful season. I think we're feeling good about that, but not great about that. I think 9 wins we're feeling really good about where we're heading. I think the conversation on the outside around Nebraska changes, because at that point, then we're 1 year away from knocking on the door of like a college football playoff, opportunity. So, and especially with this schedule, I think 9 wins is more, more than possible. So,
yeah, the back half of our schedule is very tricky too, because you get into middle October, you have a away game at Maryland, and then you have a short week night game on the road against Minnesota. And then at the end of the year, you have to travel to Penn State, and then again on a short week play Iowa on Black Friday. So those two stretches are where I think the season could be make or break, in the sense of going from maybe 7 wins to 9 or 10.
Yep. And but appreciate you for the $2, man. Thank you so much. Like we say all the time, any contribution's helpful. So much, a like, a comment, just y'all being here. But we appreciate all the contributions. So thank you very much. And go check out his channel as well. So is this the new voice of college football? The new voice of Nebraska who made that comment on the SEC atmosphere? It's this Austin.
I don't think that guy is just anything associated with Nebraska other than working for Hurrdat.
Yeah, because I think Damon Benning's out, right? Because I don't get to watch other Husker channels, YouTube channels, and all that. Like I popped on to Corn Craze the other day because he did a live stream first time in a while. He just moved out to Arizona, so we might be doing him, and Minnie in college football with Sam might be doing a kind of preseason as we get closer to the season, kind of a preseason stream, kind of all in one place. So potentially look forward to that. But yeah, I think Damon Benning's out, and I don't know if this guy's covering down. I just saw somebody in the comments mention that Damon Benning will be back soon. So I have no idea. I didn't think he was on there, but I just saw this clip on X. So let me go ahead and pull it up here, and I'm going to play it for y'all first, and then we'll get into to our thoughts on it. Let me go ahead and move this over here, actually. Okay. Y'all stay tuned, because this is a interesting one. All right, here we go. Let me make sure y'all can hear that. Well, let me turn it up. That'll be helpful.
Like an SEC
Can you hear that?
football and basketball game, because I've heard.
So there's a very important word that he says here early on, but just listen.
I would love to go to like an SEC football and basketball game, because I've heard that like it's just so different of an atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I know that's one thing like everyone every year.
Well,
brings
you know,
up. But that's one thing that they always talk about, or I've like heard of, that especially this is the time of year too when it always gets brought up, like Memorial Stadium, we've got to make it a tough place to play, Memorial Stadium. And I just don't think that the atmosphere at like Lincoln's Memorial Stadium can ever be the same as like an SEC football school. And the reason why I think that is, so again, I haven't been to like an SEC school, but the difference is all of the breaks for like, so imagine you're sitting in the stands or you're in the press box. There's always like a quarter break or a timeout, and it's a 3.5 minute TV timeout. They always bring someone out that the crowd can clap for or whatever. They're celebrating something, or they're recognizing this fan, or they're showcasing all the ads on the big screen. The SEC, they're having like a party every single time that they go to break. They're blaring music. They're like blasting all this different sound and stuff. They don't recognize like the 1974 tennis team that like finished in the Final Four or whatever.
Are you sure?
I'm like pretty sure from things that I have heard and read about, like that's the biggest difference maker, is that they keep like the energy up the entire time. And like I've been to other Big Ten schools. Big Ten schools follow like what Nebraska does. I don't know if it's like a Midwest or Southern difference, but I don't know. Like I've specifically heard, obviously LSU is a different animal, but like Death Valley will do this. That they'll keep like music blaring, like the band is always playing, or there's always music pumping through. I've heard like Tuscaloosa, like Alabama Stadium, is it Bryant Denny? Bryant Denny, yeah, like they're constantly doing that as well. So maybe those are just unique circumstances, but I think that's when I think back to like the best atmospheres I've ever been to at Memorial Stadium. Like the Colorado game this past year felt that way. Yeah. That no matter what you were doing, the whole stadium was so locked in and engaged. And I think partly it was because of the game and because everyone had high expectations. But it felt like everyone was just so much more zoned in on that.
Yeah. So I think
all right. Well, a lot to unpack there, but there are so many flaws into everything he just said. And I torched this guy yesterday, rightfully so. A lot of people did. He got completely obliterated on X, but one of the first things you hear him say, let me go ahead and
I would love to go to like an SEC football and basketball game, because I've heard
I would love to go to an SEC football basketball game.
Like it's just so different.
Because I've heard that it's just so different. So this guy doesn't even have any experience in the atmosphere, but he heard that the atmosphere is crazy
Of an atmosphere.
and one, he's talking about them playing music throughout the game and the band playing, but then when he compares it to Colorado, he's talking about the fans. Another thing too in this, he says, let him
Yeah.
And I know that's one thing, like everyone
compete.
He's talking like an expert having
or
no
I've
information.
heard of
Yes.
that, especially this is the time of year too when it always gets brought up, like Memorial Stadium. We got to make it a tough place to play. Memorial Stadium.
First off, why is he talking patronizing like that?
And I
Chill
just
out,
don't
bro.
think that the atmosphere at like Lincoln's Memorial
Just right
Stadium can ever be the same.
I don't think the atmosphere at Lincoln's Memorial Stadium can ever be the same. Whilst in the same video clip saying the Colorado game was like what he heard the SEC. There's so many flaws
It's like
in
an
everything
SEC
this guy
football
says.
school.
Mm.
And the reason why I think that is, so again, I haven't been to like an SEC school. TV timeout.
I love how Ravi is like, you can see his brain spinning. He's like, what are you saying right now?
He can see them losing subscribers by the second. I unfollowed them on X after this.
Do you care if I pull up a graphic real quick?
Not at all. And go ahead and give me your 2 cents after this, and comments. Go ahead and give us your experiences here as well.
Yeah. So this graphic, you guys can read it while we're talking. Game day experience is actually one of the big things why SEC has experienced a decline in football attendance. But my take on it is the guy's ignorant. Clearly hasn't either been to a Nebraska game. We already know he's never been to an SEC game. Now, if he's gone to a game and it's like, say, Northern Illinois, like, yeah, that game day environment's probably not great. But there are so many instances, even when Nebraska was 3-9, beating Michigan in the fourth quarter, and that stadium was rocking, that place was unhinged. If you think back to Mike Riley's year when they were 3-6 or 7 at the time, and they were playing 4th-ranked Michigan State and beat them late. That game from start to finish was unhinged.
Yep.
Oregon, there's so many examples of when Nebraska and Nebraska fans need to show up and show out, they do it over and over again. Now, I'm not going to fault people when they're playing some crap podunk school and the environment's not crazy. Like, I get it. You expect to win by 30, and you probably do. But when it matters, that place is unmatched. And even Travis Hunter said the toughest place they played all year was Nebraska. And that's your Heisman Trophy winner and #1 overall draft pick, or whatever he was picked, second.
Yeah, and another part of it is his example is LSU's Death Valley, like top tier, like top of the top. Like, this isn't he's comparing a full conference to Nebraska and saying they can't compete with a whole conference, and his example is the best atmosphere in the conference. And then, whenever I kind of commented to him about it, he doubled down on it, because he said, I haven't seen it in person at an SEC school, correct, but reading what other schools do, watching what other schools do during their breaks. How do you watch what they do during their breaks, bro? It's on a commercial. I feel comfortable saying it seems to be different than what I've seen at other Big Ten schools. Basically, Big Ten schools are tradition, and they don't feel like they have to do this gimmicky light show stuff, necessarily. And he was like, on the opposite side, I've been to many a Memorial Stadium experience where sometimes I felt like I was taken out of the game. Some of the examples I said this morning. Yeah. Obviously, Nebraska in the games that, like Michigan, for instance, the first game I took my wife to was Michigan in 2023. What a horrible game to take her to, because she totally did not get I had apologized to her as soon as we went down 14-0, because I was like, this is going to be dead in here. It's going to be like a library in here, because the life was sucked out of the stadium. But I don't care what anybody says. Like, the atmosphere when you get in Memorial Stadium for a lot of those games, it's palpable, right? You can, and even beginning of this year, everybody was taught, like I said, the hearing from the people that were there for the UTEP game, they were like, the atmosphere was insane for that one too. Like it was
Yeah,
in
I
this
was
next season. And to say that when Nebraska's on the way up, think about when Nebraska, is winning 9-10 games plus a year, competing, in the top 25 and stuff like that. Think about how crazy the atmosphere is going to be. It's going to be like Colorado every single game. And it's the matter of fact that they said can't. He said, or will not be able to ever, like whatever he said in regards to that. Yeah, it's wild to me. And this is the problem I feel like sometimes with a lot of these talking heads is like when they run out of things to talk about, it's like they just try to stir up drama for clicks because they're not able to talk about football, and he said it so confidently. That's the funniest part of it.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's like he's speaking so confidently when he has zero information to go off of. Like, I can't sit here and tell you that the SEC has a better environment than Nebraska or Penn State. Why? I've never been.
I've been to
Big 12 stadiums. I've been to a lot of Big 12 games. I can tell you, generally speaking, it sucks.
Yep.
But also it depends on where you go.
100%. I've been to many a Texas Longhorn games. I went to way back in the day when they played Nebraska. I don't remember. I was like 15 years old or something like that. And it wasn't even comparable, in my opinion, to Nebraska games. It wasn't even comparable. And that was back when they were a top 10 school. You know what I'm saying? So like they had that electricity. They were a top school and it was packed out in there. But it was very kind of mild in terms, and it was a close game. It was a good game throughout, a very tough rivalry game. And it wasn't as crazy as Nebraska games. And so, yeah, I have no idea. And I think he tweeted today, he said, I think he said, maybe I'm the problem or something like that.
Yeah, dude, you are.
He might have deleted that because I no longer see it. Maybe
just don't make stupid takes and then double and triple down when everyone calls you out on the hypocrisy or the double standard. Like, dude, it's no different than me giving you career advice when we do completely different jobs. I couldn't tell you the first thing to do about your job. And if I told you how to do it, you'd be like, dude, shut up.
It's wild. Ravi counting the seconds. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was at the USC game. Oh, can you? We're at our mid-show echo.
Here we go.
Gotta love StreamYard. I was at the USC game last year. It was 50-50. We travel well. This dude's a clown. Agreed. Nebraska's biggest issue is when we start losing the stadium. Yeah, 100%. Especially when we get down early. It's like, but I think more so the reason why it's been like that is because like the oh no, here we go again sets in, and once that goes away, then we'll lose that part of it. But it's just like, as soon as we got down to Michigan 14-0, we were screwed. We didn't have the offense to come back. They were that good. We needed to play a perfect game. So those games, it's really hard to like get back up and like be like, yeah, but I feel like that's any stadium. You go to Alabama when they're playing like, ITT Tech, and like it's like everybody talks about like how muted it is at Alabama games when they're not playing a top school. They talk about that a lot, and Nebraska's consistently in the top 15, top 10 of atmospheres, even with winning 4 or 5 games a year. I don't know how many SEC schools would be able to say that.
Well, you kind of hit it right on the head there, with the losing and not being a very good team for a long time. Like, of course, when you get put in that situation, the crowd is very much woe is me. Here we go.
We're nervous. But we're nervous. Like, we're anxious. We're too anxious to cheer because we're sitting there like on pins and needles, like, please, something happen.
Yeah. But like, put yourself in this situation. Okay. USC's coming to town on November 1st. You've got, wins over Cincinnati, Akron, HCU, Michigan State, Maryland, and Minnesota, Northwestern. You've got 1 loss, maybe 2. Mm-hmm. You can't tell me that place is not going to be unhinged from start to finish, even if it's a slower start, because you're at that point, 6-1, 5-1, maybe. I don't really count it up too quick, but you're on the track of showing progress. That stadium's going to be nuts. Just got to get over this hump of losing all the time at home.
100%. I myself like that we have a bit of class and sportsmanship at Lincoln. I challenge any SEC teams to be as loud as Lincoln. Yeah, exactly, 100%. I think the biggest fan issues we have is not being as loud on away games as we are at home. That's a good point, Boneland. That has about as much logic as his point. Thank you again, Sports Talk with Austin. Nebraska fans are real ones. Even when they are bad, they never ever leave the side. Guys have earned something great, maybe a Big Ten championship. See, I like this guy already. Thank you so much for the 5, man. Again, really appreciate you being in here and contributing to the channel, man. Thank you so much. They're coming. I'm sorry. I've been super busy these last few weeks. I'm starting to train at a new gym now, and so I've been getting the ball rolling on that, trying to get my clientele in there, and it's been a lot of work. So everything's starting to slow down now. So I'm gonna be getting those out, and I do have one coming where I'm gonna break down the difference in the offensive scheme between what Holgerson did differently to what Satterfield did in the beginning of the season. So that was going to be a pretty long breakdown. So I'll be able to give y'all kind of a few day in advance of when that one's going to drop. But yeah, so y'all stay tuned for that. But yeah, I got a lot of that coming up. Just trying to get everything situated with the actual job. Making more money over there, training out of this new gym. So. I also think instead of the students being in the southeast corner, but I appreciate your patience, man, but I'll get those for you. Don't worry. I also think instead of the students being in the southeast corner, they need to be in the first 3 to 5 rows all the way around the stadium with reseating. That would be perfect. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'd like them to be right behind the away team bench. The first 15 rows. That's
exactly where I said like 8 rows up, kind of on that like 34-yard line behind the away team bench.
Yeah, they need to be able to make the opposing team's lives hell for 60 minutes. I mean, that's such a huge advantage.
Well, and too, like spreading them out around the stadium, like you see the energy going on in the student section, that would kind of echo that energy around the stadium too, because you see everybody getting hype in front of you and stuff like that. Whereas like my cousin Terry, she is loud. I'm Irish, so my family's Irish, so we're really, really loud. And it was to the point one time where she was we were on the first little level, and she was kind of back under the kind of overhang, and this older lady next to her threatened to called security over because she was being too loud and cussing too much.
At a football game.
It's being too loud at a college football game. My cousin. My family's very aggressive too, so she told her off. But yeah, it's kind of crazy, and would make the stadium that much more loud. 100%. All good. Just asking. Do you think? No. I appreciate you holding me accountable on that because I've been slacking on that, but life's just been busy. But I gotta follow through on that. So I'll get those out to y'all for sure. But I've already started breaking down a lot of the film from Satterfield. Working on breaking down a lot of the schemes from Holgerson and kind of clipping the ones that I think are the most important so y'all can so it's easy to follow. So, but yeah, stay tuned for that for sure. Did y'all see the Archie Wilson interview? I did not. Did you?
Man, I've been so busy at work. I've had no time.
Let me see. Exactly. Yeah. That's why
honestly, I spend most of my time looking for houses to buy when we move.
So, let's see. Let me see if I can find it here.
So we can pull it up real quick.
I got a quote here. It says, "It's not too different from home. It's awesome here. I love the program. It's great to train, to be part of it, and to finally get here." Let me see if I can find the actual interview. And then I got some rankings that I'm going to go through for y'all here in just a second that we're going to break down. Some rankings from other people that kind of break down where they think Nebraska stands. Let me pull some of those up real quick so we can go through. And I'm really curious to hear some thoughts on this. But first, there was another drama-filled situation where another, 100-follower Big Ten analyst over on the Big Ten Huddle. Shout out to the Big Ten Huddle, though. Very good friends with the guy who runs it over there. I was early on in that show. I was on there a lot. So good people over there, but I have no idea about these new people. This was before they expanded to all these new people. But his name's Big Jeff McMichael, and his bio says Big Ten football expert at bigjeffsfootball.com. providing data-based Big Ten content. Big Jeff's football and Thursday 9 p.m. Eastern podcasts on the Big Ten Huddle. So let's go ahead and bring up what Mr. Big Jeff had to say here. All right. 4 truths about the Big Ten, he says. Okay. The team. Hold on, let me zoom in a little bit. Oh my God. Of course it doesn't work. The team. So we got the USC up here. The team, the USC. The team the Big Ten needs to step up the most and improve their win rate to help challenge the SEC supremacy is USC. Okay. Now here's Nebraska. Again, talking matter-of-factly, Nebraska is considered a football blue blood, but under the current college football system, they will not get back to truly performing like a blue blood and can't win a national championship. They will not, in all caps, get back to truly performing like and cannot win a national championship.
Close the program. Shut it down.
You see my response here. Not a very muted response. I'm kind of aggressive. So it's a joke that I'm saying, and then this is the backpedaling we do. So it's a joke I'm saying Nebraska needs top 10 recruiting consistently on a national title. I doubt they can do it. It's okay. Okay, fine. I'm a joke. The best class they've had in the last 10 years is 18th. They have a lot. So we're breaking down recruiting classes in 2025, not understanding the nuance of the modern college football era. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of work to do. I'm not saying they can't be very successful. You kind of did.
You just did.
Make the playoffs and maybe win a game or two. Wouldn't that be competing like a blue blood if you're consistently making the playoffs? To win a natty, you have to win most likely 4 straight games. Yes, true. It takes a lot of quality depth to do it. We're building that. If they can recruit elite, then I am wrong. Okay. Husker Army, you could have stopped that. Okay, fine. I'm a joke, and we appreciate the admission. And then here he goes. So stupid, false. I use data to help formulating opinion. Your team has a lot of work to do, Nebraska, since Frank Solich in 2021. This is where we kind of get that outside looking in perspective that nobody understands the inner workings of Nebraska, and they just point to these little nuggets of information. Hasn't finished top 10 since Frank Solich. Yes. Circumstances dictated that, which we can talk through. I was almost wanted to bring him on the show to kind of talk through this with him, so I could kind of, tear him a new one. All 4 of those at elite QBs. Okay. Do we not? The 20 champs average 5.9 recruiting rate. So look at all these numbers. This is all back then, and recruiting now is completely different. Everything is different in modern college football, but we got these old talking heads. Everybody doesn't need to have a mic and a podcast. You know what I'm saying? We don't all need to have websites. We don't all need to kind of give our opinions on football. Some people are good at it. Some people aren't. I consider myself not good at it. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Y'all got to listen to me anyways. So y'all show up every week. So, but yeah, so we had that opinion. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Anyone that, the way I look at it, they're cherry picking data to fit a narrative instead of telling the whole story. And that's exactly kind of what these burner accounts or whatever the hell you want to call it. They will cherry pick data to fit a narrative, and then they're going to just keep regurgitating that narrative with that data. And there's no substance. There's actually no thought process behind what they're saying. They're just trying to drive home their own narrative, their own point, without having to concede the fact that they were maybe wrong. And it's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, and numbers tell part of the story. Again, it's very nuanced, and with the changing landscape of college football, you can't sit here and be like, yeah, back 10 years ago, these teams that won the national championship had these recruiting classes. It's preposterous.
Nebraska had the 4th ranked recruiting class under Bill Callahan, and they went freaking 4-8.
We were the 4th most talented team off the bus with Scott Frost, and we didn't win. Yeah. We're going to have smaller classes that aren't going to be highly ranked because we got to focus on the numbers. 2027, like we've talked about before, is going to be an insane class. And I think that has the potential to be a top 10 class. And it sounds like he's basically saying Nebraska cannot land a top 10 class, which we've been top 25 pretty consistently with 3, 5, 6 wins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is probably going to be our worst recruiting class in the last 20 years in terms of rankings. But like we've talked about a lot, the ranking is kind of irrelevant now. You can take your entire class from the portal if you wanted to. I mean, there's just so many variables where I don't care what recruiting rankings look like. I care about who you get, how good they are. If they have 50 offers or 5, whatever, they can develop. But I think the biggest thing is just knowing there's way more ways to supplement talent nowadays.
Yeah.
Whereas opposed to taking 25 people classes, you can take 10 in the high school ranks and 20 in the portal.
Yes.
But you won't get a high recruiting class because you have 10 high school players. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But you can get 24 or 5-star recruits in the portal, and that's a completely different recruiting ranking system.
Hey, I found Big Jeff's burner. Did I say they will or did I say they can? All right, Papa Smurfs, kick rocks, dude. Little lame-os. Shout out you, Big Jeff, for popping in here with that dumbass thing. Sports Talk with Austin. Appreciate you, man. Listen, my guy's coming through clutch. He has a couple questions though. Day or nighttime games when it comes to Nebraska? What do you guys like better? Nighttime.
Yep, 100%.
When you get out there and you get kind of to the bars early, you kind of get to wake up a little bit. It's more so like you get out there, you get to drinking a little bit, everybody loosens up, and there's something about like the nighttime that brings that kind of energy party atmosphere under the lights, and it's not as hot. I think everybody's dying out in the sun for a lot of games.
That Colorado game was just like the epitome of why you want a night game in Memorial Stadium. And now you could add booze to the equation. We're going to be getting drunk during the games.
Yeah, even if you look, like even when I went to the Ohio State game, when College Game Day was there, Justin Fields, like it was dead in there for the most of the game because of how it went. However, like the energy in that stadium before that game was crazy. Like just you kind of feel that place is ready to explode, and unfortunately we didn't get to. But
we got smoked that week or that year. And even midway through like the third quarter, they shut the lights off. The whole freaking stadium was rocking. You would never have guessed we were down by 30 points. You would have thought we were up by like 20. It's crazy.
And online, a lot of people mentioned that. Even Ohio State fans were talking about that. So
yeah, that was during a timeout, I think, actually.
What is the biggest thing you guys need to see from Dylan Raiola this year? I think the biggest thing we need to see from him is just command of the offense. I just think him understanding that in year 2, now he knows the playbook well. He's working with Dana Holgerson over the offense. The end of last season, I think that was very important for him to get the reps in there. He has confidence as a receiver core. I think for him, last year was him kind of earning his keep and learning how to lead. And I think the biggest thing this year is bringing that confidence out there and leading and just kind of keeping the energy up in that offense no matter what. And I think he did a good job. We saw that progression over the course of last season. He was still doing that, trying to lift the guys up and stuff like that. I just think if he goes out there and he throws the ball with confidence, and I think everything else is going to feed off of that because he is the leader of this team. So that to me is the biggest thing that I think will help the team be successful.
If I had to give like one very specific thing, it's deep ball accuracy.
Deep ball,
yeah. Because receiver play last year was not great, and this year we think it's going to be a lot better. But how many times could games have flipped the script just by being able to complete a deep ball once or twice a game? I mean, so I think to be specific, it would be the deep ball. Overall, I agree 100% with what you said as well. Just an overall arching perspective.
And curious your take on this. Like, I feel like a lot of the deep ball accuracy issues were from the fact that he took so much pressure early on, and all the routes, that Satterfield had him running were 30 yards down the field. And he just felt like even when the pressure wasn't bearing down on him, he still kind of reacted like it was about to. So it was like in his head that like, I'm looking for pressure. And I think that hurt his decision making. And I also think that kind of hurt his deep ball accuracy. And I think sometimes that adrenaline, the ball was just jumping out of his hand.
Yeah, you think back to that was it Luke Lindenmeyer in the back of the end zone against Illinois. Not like a really big deep ball. I think it was like a 20 or 25 yard pass, but overshoots him, kind of releases it a little early. A part of it too, I believe,
was that Jamal Banks one?
I can't remember, but
Or
I
Miss
believe
Banks?
Luke Lindenmeyer, because they were the heavy set. They had Luke not Hartberg, Fedoni, and Borkacher all in, and Luke was one that slipped out.
I remember what you're talking about. That was a different one. Yeah.
They used Borkacher and Fedoni almost as decoys.
I remember
and it worked
that
perfectly.
Yeah,
But
because
there
that was
times where you'd overthrow guys.
That was Lindenmeyer. And then the Banks one where it was in the end zone. Because I think I just think he didn't throw it to Banks when he was wide open. He looked that way, didn't throw it, pulled it down and tossed it over to Emmett on the check down. And I think it was the fact that, but again, I think that's the decision making. Like, he was thinking a lot. And I think this year it's more so like less thinking, more reacting. And when you're thinking, you're going to be a half step slow like that. Once you see it and then you pull that ball and you're like, it was there, I didn't take it, but it's too late at that point. You got to get rid of that thing.
I think part of it too is trust with the receivers. Yes. At some point, it certainly seemed this way to me, at least, where it was very much I don't trust who I'm getting the ball to or who I have to catch my passes. It seemed like that at times, other than maybe Jamal Banks. But gosh, when you get let down time after time by Isaiah with drops and key moments, it just, as a quarterback, I would imagine, like, I can't trust him. I can't throw it to him, even if he's open.
Yes. And so, Austin, again, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you hopping in here, and I appreciate your contribution to the show, man. Thank you so much. The other Dave, you're going to have to go back and look because there's a lot. But appreciate you dropping in here. Even though you're late, appreciate you hopping in here, man. Night games, and I need to see that Dylan is taking in and analyzing what he's seeing on the field, enabling him to act without. Exactly. Justin, we got the same name, so we're on the same wavelength there. Appreciate you hopping in here, man. Take care. If Nebraska could have a top 10 27 class, if Trey Taylor's a top 3 5-star QB, he will be a 5-star. He will be.
Nebraska's probably going to have 2 5-stars in next year's class, Troy Pittman and Trey Taylor.
Yeah, he will be a 5-star.
And I'll call it now, Ahmad Hudson and Cameron Wagner, the tackle from Illinois.
Yeah.
That might be 4 or 5 stars. You got to keep the momentum you have with those dudes and show it on the field, but it could be a freaking insane class. I'm looking forward to covering.
Kind of like Dave mentioned here, like, winning matters. And so if Nebraska rolls off a 9-10 win season, it's going to get real interesting in that recruiting. So he needs to run more. I don't know if he necessarily needs to run more.
He needs to be more opportunistic.
I think he needs to take what the defense gives him a little more. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Kind of like actually, when he slides after the first down.
Yes, because I think saying somebody needs to run more means that, like, almost like more design QB runs, or like they need to bail on the pocket more. I just think sometimes if there's 2 or 3 yards, they're accessible. I think part of this offense is going to be just, and I think Holgerson's going to instill that in him, is just taking what the defense gives you. We're going to be making 2 to 3 yard passes. If nothing's open, tuck it, run. If you get to the line of scrimmage and there's somebody waiting for you, get down. Don't take too many unnecessary hits. But yeah, we don't really want him taking a bunch of hits and running too much. But the opportunity's there, of course. We want him taking that. But
I think they're going to do, if you think back to the bowl game, it was like, I think it was 3rd and short. It was the play where he slid short of the first down, then they had to hand it to Ramir Johnson on that 4th down.
Yep.
But they did like a little rollout. You had Fedoni in the flat. You could have shoveled it forward to, I think Emmett was the running, or I can't remember. Maybe it was Emmett that was the running back that was in, or he can take off and run with it.
Yep.
The short yardage packages and what they do schematically, I think, is going to be probably the biggest change that we see, comparatively speaking, with Holgerson and Satterfield. Satterfield seemed very predictable in 3rd and short. Holgerson, that play alone, you had 3 options on one play: keep it, pass it, pitch it.
Can I tell you what Holgerson's short yardage situations were? Give it to why do I always draw a blank on his name? He's dead to me now. Who's the oh my God, it was the other running back last year.
Holgerson refuses to say his name.
Dowdell. Who was it? Dowdell. It was give the ball to Dowdell and jump over the line. Dante, just jump over the line and hope for the best. If they meet you at the top, Well, you already left the ground. Your legs are done. Forward progress is done. That was it. Jump over the. Got a big one here.
Whoa! Heck yeah!
Hey, listen.
Thank you.
We just need to leave the corn head up here, man. I just wanted to give you another donation, show my appreciation for you guys' hard work and effort. Nebraska might be my new second favorite team now. You guys awesome, but still go Cards if we ever match up. All respect. Hey, man, appreciate you again. If y'all don't mind, go over and subscribe to his channel. Appreciate him, man, giving the contribution. Thank you so much. And yeah, if y'all don't mind, open this a new tab. Go give him a sub, just to. As a thank you and check out his stuff over there. So I appreciate you. Thank you for that, man. Thank you so much. All right. There's a list here of coaching hot seats. And this is according to Fornelli on CBS, but I want you to, yeah. Okay. I want you to kind of take a look at this and tell me your thoughts.
Am I tripping, or didn't Wisconsin sign Luke Fickell to an extension in the offseason?
Yeah, and this is yes, I believe so. Hottest to coldest, and
how would he be on a hot seat if they just signed him to an extension? Well, I agree he should be on the hot seat, but to me it makes no sense.
Fleck also got signed to an extension, and I don't think Fleck's going anywhere. He's been the best coach that they've ever had at Minnesota.
Lincoln Riley, 100%.
Yeah, Riley. Loxley, Deshaun Foster, I can agree with this. I don't know where UCLA goes from Deshaun Foster, so I think I think they might keep him around a little while. Sherrone Moore, Matt Rule, I don't think his seat's hot at all, man. David Braun, Jonathan Smith, David Braun either. I'm like,
he's in year 2.
Yeah, and what he did with Northwestern was crazy in his interim.
Yeah, technically it's his 3rd year, I guess, but second year of his contract.
Yeah, PJ Fleck, Ferentz seat is only hot.
He should be 18
if he retires.
Yeah.
Jed Fish, Greg Schiano, James Franklin, Barry Odom. I find it crazy that Barry Odom's here, but you got guys like David Braun, PJ Fleck. Like, I feel like Barry Odom this is a team that just fired a coach that they had for what, a year?
Maybe 2.
They're 2 years.
Garbage. Okay, so if I had to remake this list because it's garbage, this is clearly clickbait. It has to be. Dan Lanning's the safest. James Franklin, Ryan Day, they're interchangeable. Brett Bielema, interchangeable. Kurt Signetti, interchangeable.
Sorry, I'm moving it around. Crap.
I don't understand. Well, okay, like Mike Locksley is getting fired at the end of the season regardless, so he's number 1.
Yep.
I think Lincoln Riley's buyout is in excess of $40 million, so he's not on the hot seat by a financial standpoint. I don't disagree with Deshaun Foster being on the hot seat, but to say he's 3rd in the conference is a little wild to me. Nebraska's buyout with Matt Rule is like in excess of $60 million. So I don't understand why he's even where he's at. Yes. PJ Fleck and Kirk Ferentz are probably right up there with James Franklin, Ryan Day, Brett Bielema, Kurt Signetti, and Dan Lanning. I mean, they love PJ in Minnesota and they love Kirk Ferentz in Iowa.
Sorry, I'm not sure how that happened, but like the top of this stupid thing went higher than my screen, so I couldn't grab the top of the damn window, move it back over. And what was that last part?
Right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, he's not on the hot seat. Neither is David Braun or Matt Rule. I don't know why Sherrone Moore is on 5th.
No, me neither. Matt Rule 6th. I mean, I guess.
You know what's crazy? Looking at this list and realizing how many damn good coaches there are.
That's what I'm saying. Like at the same time, it's hard to rank them because like it doesn't seem like a lot of these guys are hot seat.
I think Lincoln Riley is for sure, even though USC's got the money. I just don't know why they would pay that much money to fire him. But there is not a coach right now in the last 3 years has done less with more than Lincoln Riley.
Yep.
They are loaded across the board, and they are bad. I guess.
Which
They're okay.
Which I'm kind of disappointed in myself because last year I put Lincoln Riley as the top 12 coach in college football. So
I think they'll be better this year, but if they're not, that's why I think he's on the hot seat.
Their defense got to improve for sure.
But Kirk Ferentz and PJ, they should be right down there at the bottom.
Yep. And then let me see. I think there was another one. Let me double check here if I had another ranking on here. Un momento, por favor. Oh yeah, and then we had Phil Steele's. Say that 10 times fast. Toughest to easiest Big Ten schedules here, and
ours is relatively easy.
Toughest to easiest. Look where he's got us.
Oh, we're not.
I don't know if it's that easy.
Well, let's see. We play USC at home. They should be decent. We go to Penn State. We go to Maryland, to Minnesota. And that's a tough stretch. Well, I don't know, man. I think our schedule is relatively easy. Indiana being at 17 seems wild. Don't they play Oregon and Ohio State?
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. I'm pulling their schedule up right now because I think they play Oregon and Penn State. Yeah. So let me see. Okay. So we got let me share this tab instead. Okay.
This is Indiana's.
Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State. Okay, so you got Illinois, Iowa at Kinnick, Oregon and Eugene, Michigan State, UCLA, Maryland, which we play all three of those teams as well. We play them. We don't play Illinois. Penn State, Wisconsin, Purdue. Yeah. That
is a gauntlet of road games.
That's a tough schedule, bro.
Is that at Illinois too?
No. That's in Bloomington.
That's still going to be a hell of a game. But you go on the road against two of the top teams in the conference, and they're the 17th easiest conference schedule.
Yeah, and then maybe because you do. You go Illinois, Iowa. You get a bye week. Oregon. Good. That stretch right there is tough. Illinois, Iowa, Oregon.
Iowa's winning 8-9 games a year.
Mm-hmm.
And Illinois is coming off 10 wins?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to Oregon, who just went to the semifinal or the playoffs at the very least.
Yep.
And then you go to Penn State later on down the road, who just was a epic collapse away from playing for the national title.
Then they get a bye week late in the season too. So, all right, let's see. Austin's got a question here. Who will be the surprise team for the Big Ten? Let's surprise. I'm trying to think of
Are you talking Indiana's of next year?
No, but I'm also are we talking about surprise, good surprise? Or are we talking about could be worse than we expect? Because I think Indiana could very well fall into that category. But
just looking at their schedule alone, I don't think, unless they are somehow just developing at a rapidly great pace that we're not. I can't see them winning 8 games next year.
No, me neither. And let me look here. So we got Penn State. Penn State's going to be good. Ohio State's going to be good. Oregon's going to be good. Michigan's going to be pretty good.
I think they're going to be good.
Indiana, again, I think they're going to regress. USC, I think people are kind of seeing them as a middle of the road team. So it's one of those things that
Jesus.
The other Dave, man. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Bro, you did not have to do that, but we cannot thank you enough, man. Thank you, everybody. Austin, the other Dave, and everybody who's here, man. Thank y'all so much. I wish I could say that 1,000 times. I probably have, but cannot thank you enough, man. It really, really helps us out. So love your guys' content. Go Big Red. Funds meant to go towards Justin Husker trip this year, ideally with Minnie and Connor with an AZ for Nebraska tailgate before the game. That'd be fantastic. So hopefully we can do something like that in the near future. But I also want to work with the Huskers in Arizona alumni group out here. Maybe see if we can do a live stream at one of the Husker bars with the Husker fans too. So we're going to try to get some stuff rocking and rolling for y'all. But man, thank you so much, man. Yeah, we need more than just this for that one.
We need a literal.
I need my old interface, my other interface plugged in where I can do the little noises on it. Man, thank you again so much. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Wow, Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
Yeah. Let's go back through here a little bit. USC plus 140. This is to win 9 games. We got Illinois plus 145, Nebraska plus 150. Washington, Iowa, Minnesota. I feel like Minnesota is a wild card, but I still think they're going to be around 7 or 8 wins, kind of in that range. I don't really see too many teams surprising here. Purdue's got no odds to win 9 games. It literally says no odds. Maybe Northwestern at plus 7,000, but like I feel
what's their over under?
Let me look at the Big Ten over under win totals.
I think Michigan State's going to be like, people are going to be surprised at how freaking terrible they are.
Yes,
I think they're garbage. If I'm being honest, like I think they're probably in like that 5.5 to 7 range over under. I haven't looked. That's my guess. I'd be shocked if they won 3. I think they're absolutely garbage. I think their coach sucks. He was another one of those Oregon State guys that catches lightning in a bottle for a year or two and then just gets killed when he actually plays teams.
All right. So we got Illinois over under is 8.5. We got Indiana over under is 8.5. And it looks like they're projected to go under.
Yep.
Iowa over under 7.5. Maryland over under 4.5. Michigan.
They're picking up to go under, aren't they? Is that what it said?
Yeah. The more likely odds are they're going to win 4 games or less. Michigan over under 9.5 wins.
Whoa.
Which I think
that would be my surprise.
I think it's a little high. Yeah.
Yeah. If they did that, that'd be my surprise.
Vegas tends to be pretty conservative with these. Whoa. Oh, it threw me off because the ad went away. Let's see. Oh, I went too far. Over under for Michigan State's 5.5. I could see them going, well, I don't know. I got to look at their schedule, but Aiden Childs, I don't know how I feel about Aiden Childs, to be honest. Over under 7.5 from Nebraska. I feel like we could surprise some people in terms of like
they're picking us to go over 7.5 too.
Yeah. I feel like we would surprise more so the general college football fan. Can you back up and come back in?
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the over under win total, like I think we're going to exceed 7.5 for sure. Northwestern over under 3.5. Yeah, I could see Northwestern outperforming that, but they didn't really have a good season last year, so I'm probably anticipating the fact that like they may be able to surprise like they did in year 1. But I think they were kind of figured out a little bit there. Ohio State, they're just Northwestern can be scrappy sometimes.
Yeah, so they're always tough.
Ohio State over under 10.5. Oregon over under 10.5. Penn State over under 10.5. Purdue over under 3.5. And their heavy odds are going to go under. And yeah, they say he's not on the hot seat. Rutgers over under 5.5. UCLA over under 5.5. USC over under 7.5. Do you think Iamaliva can make UCLA be a surprise team, or is their overall roster kind of not good enough?
I think he's so average. He's so mediocre.
Yeah, I agree. I think we saw that last year against elite defenses. So I think he's going to face some tough defenses, man, especially being, at UCLA without a lot of the weapons he's going to need over there.
With how much his family thought he was worth, you would have thought that this dude was a Heisman contender at quarterback.
Sports Talk of Austin, the $2, man. Thank you so much again. USC over under 7.5. Washington over under 7.5. You think they'll go much over that? Sorry, my neck needs to pop. That's
pull up their schedule.
I mean, maybe so. Wisconsin over under 5.5. That's low, but
what was up Wisconsin's?
Over under 5.5 wins.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty low.
That's if I'm.
But they're going to be bad. They're going to be bad. But I think that might be the case. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough because let me go through.
Got a fairly good non-con slate.
Let me break down each one real quick again. So I think, I think Illinois. I think Illinois is going to be really good this year. Indiana, I think they're not going to be as good as last year. Iowa, Iowa's, I think pretty much 7 wins. I think is very doable for them pretty much any year.
I'd hammer the over
7-8 wins. Yeah, I would too. Maryland, terrible. Michigan, they're going to be pretty good, but I don't think they're 9.5 wins yet. Michigan State's not going to be very good. I think they might be able to surprise and go under just because Childs, I think he can be good in moments. I think Nebraska's going to go over Northwestern. I think they'll go over here. Ohio State, of course, I think they're probably going to go over. Oregon, 10.5 wins. Penn State, man, I don't know. Like, I think Penn State could be one of the top teams that kind of goes under their win total. If you're talking about Oregon, Ohio State, or Penn State, I think they would be the most likely, in my opinion, to go under. But I don't necessarily think it's super likely, but I think they're the most likely of those. Purdue, terrible. Rutgers, I feel like Rutgers can go over that. UCLA, I feel like UCLA's such in the air just because of Yamaliva. We don't know what he is. USC, I think USC's kind of coming into the season. They're kind of looking like us, where it's like unsure of what they're going to be. Washington, again, I think 7.5 is pretty favorable.
Wait till you hear the schedule
for them.
Yeah, Colorado State, UC Davis, Washington State. That's 3 wins, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you play Ohio State, loss. Maryland, at Maryland, with going across the country, that'll be a challenge. You could still chalk that up as a win.
Mm-hmm.
Rutgers at home the following week on a short week. Toss up.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan at Michigan. Illinois at Wisconsin. Purdue at UCLA. Wrapping up the year with Oregon. That is the perfect over-under.
Yeah, I agree. I think they nailed that one for sure. Alibaba, I appreciate you, man. Interesting, because he's a Minnesota fan. I don't remember seeing Minnesota on that list. Did they leave them off?
They're over-under? I think it's 7.5 as well.
I don't think it was on that list, though. It's kind of crazy. They forgot Minnesota. I'm not a betting man, but you could have made a fortune betting Minnesota overs the past decade. Actually, we just talked about Fleck a little bit ago, and kind of echoed what you talked about the other day, where he was the best, talking about how his seat's not hot because he's the best coach y'all have had basically ever. So made a fortune betting Minnesota over the past decade. Intrigued by the Michigan State hate. I expect Sparty to be improved. I think it's just like I'm not sold fully on Aiden Childs, and not hate.
Realistic.
Yeah, I think Aiden Childs needs to show us. And like I said, I think he will be able to surprise because I think he is a player who can flash at times. Yeah. I just think we need to see that consistency from him. But no hating on Michigan State at all. I don't necessarily know if they're going to be able to go over that for sure.
Minnesota schedule. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say I appreciate him hopping in here and checking out the show.
While we've got him here, because you said he's a Minnesota fan.
Yep.
They're over under 7.5. Phenomenal schedule, if I'm being honest. Might be the easiest schedule, one of the easiest ones. They have 2 big games.
Yeah, their schedule's crazy. Crazy easy.
Buffalo, easy dub. Northwestern State, easy dub. Cal should be an easy dub. That program's a mess. Rutgers, tough one. At Ohio State, chalk that up as an L.
And we've pretty much said the Nebraska-Minnesota game's one of our 50-50s on the schedule.
Yeah. They play Ohio State, Purdue, and then us. So that's a decent stretch for them right there. And then after that, they play Iowa, Michigan State, Oregon, Northwestern, and Wisconsin. So Oregon, Ohio State are their 2 guaranteed losses. Everything else is almost 50-50 outside of their non-con.
Mm-hmm.
They could be a team just on that schedule alone that gets you 8-9 wins. teams.
Yeah, they can be sneaky. And again, yeah, we talk about it a lot, but just going into Minnesota, it's a sneaky tough place to play. I don't think people give it enough credit for how crazy that place can get, you know, especially on night games and stuff like that when the atmosphere is, or when there's a good team in town, or it's a conference game, like that place can get electric. So pretty slept on crowd over there in Minnesota.
I loved it when I went last year or 2 years ago.
Phenomenal. Oh yeah, you said it was crazy out there.
Yeah, phenomenal environment. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I would love to go check out a game out there.
I was getting heckled by the college students saying all sorts of shit, and I'm just sitting there with my dad, and I'm like, man, no one would ever say anything like this at Nebraska, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I know. I love the banter. I think the 4-game stretch of Michigan State, Maryland, and Minnesota won a punt will determine if we get 8, 9, or 10 wins this year. Agreed.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a grind.
100%. To get 10 wins, we're gonna need to win all 4 of those games. I think Michigan will probably be the toughest of those, but Minnesota is up there just because of how hard they play us, and they're a team that doesn't beat themselves. They do what they do well. I wouldn't say to Iowa level, but you know, with the
I'm very confident in who they are.
With Fleck being in, like, on what was he coming up on, year 8?
I think so. His extensions through 2030.
Got that culture in there, and I think they just do what they do very well. I don't think they're going to be a crazy team that's going to go win national championships, but I think like you said, with this schedule, I think they can do some good things this year for sure.
Their biggest questions at quarterback, I believe he's a redshirt freshman, their likely starter. And then part of it too, they got some receivers through the portal, and then what Malachi Coleman can accomplish there. I mean, early reports out of Minnesota is he's not even in the rotation going into fall camp. That's
year 9.
Year 9. Wow. Yeah, man. He's a guy who's confident in who he is, his system, his culture. It from the outside looking in, it looks so gimmicky, but man, does it work.
Maybe corny at times, but what he's done there has been pretty remarkable considering their track record. So Minnesota gets Oregon and Ohio State. You know, the one touchdown that Jeff Sims scored was on a broken play. Dude, think about that. Yep. The only touchdown he scored was on a broken play,
in which he fumbled the ball.
Yeah, he fumbled it to himself. Minnesota gets Oregon and Ohio State on the road, but they get the winnable games at home with our running game. And I think, 8 wins is more than doable. With redshirt freshman QB, I can't pick more than that. I think that's really fair. I think that's fair for sure.
The good thing is they get Ohio State like on the road. You get a big game relatively early in the season for that freshman QB to kind of get that shock of shit. I'm in the Big Ten playing Ohio State, so that when you go to Oregon later in the year, if you're on a pretty good streak, maybe it won't affect him as much.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we are a little bit over our time here, which is perfectly okay, but I got another show I got to hop on after this over at Generation Red. So if y'all want to hop over there, I'm not going to be on very long. Got to pick my wife up for the airport. So if y'all want to hop over there, thank you so much. Sports Talk. Yeah, words are hard. Sports talk with Austin. Appreciate you again for all your contributions the other day. Again,
thank you.
Can't thank you enough, man. So much for that, because like I said, this all helps us out. YouTube doesn't pay a whole lot, so really helps us out, y'all's contributions to keep this rocking and rolling. So thank you again, and thank you to everybody who tunes in every single week. We appreciate y'all. And like I said, those film reviews are coming. I'm starting to work through breaking some of the film down. I just take my time on a lot of the full offensive breakdowns. Oh my gosh, there's Jeff. My camera goes out. My dog's rustling. But that'll do it for us here. Thursday, we are going to be here with our call-in show, the Husker Gutter call-in show. Pitt Snipe did not show up for the show today. He's been slacking lately, let's be honest.
Slacker.
That, or stay tuned for that. We're going to need some people to call in, so bring your topics or get your topics ready in the lead up for that. So Brian, anything before we head out?
Nope, I am ready to rock and roll.
All right, well, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank y'all so much, and with that being said, we will see y'all in the next video. Peace.